What's up, y'all? Welcome to tonight's live. In this session, we're going to be talking all about mapping out your customer journey. But first, I got to make sure the microphone is on that y'all can hear me because y'all, yesterday we had this beautiful 30-minute session. I was in my teaching bag hard. And well, I don't want to talk about what happened because that video is no longer there because we were on and we were doing the thing and you could not hear a thing that I was saying. So now you can hear me. So let's dive in. Today we're going to be building our customer journey and we're going to be doing it together. If you don't already have my customer journey checklist, you want to make sure that you grab that free resource. I'm going to pin a comment in the chat with the link just so that you make sure that you have that and you are ready to rock and roll because we're going to be doing this together. Now, listen, when I consume information, I got to watch it all the way through first and then go back and implement. So I want you to make sure that you watch this all the way through first and then play it again. Okay? And I want you to implement as you are watching the second time. Okay? You're going to want to make sure that you grab this checklist. You're going to want to make sure that you grab this checklist right here. And I said that because you are going to want to make sure that you can follow along. And hey, Melinda, what's up, girl? Welcome to tonight's live. You're going to want to make sure that you have your checklist handy. And if you don't have it handy, you better stay tuned because I'm going to put the link in the comments a little bit later so you can grab yours. But I want you to just pay attention first, okay? Just pay attention first. So let's dive in. We're going to be mapping out our customer journey together. So let's start by talking about the stages of the customer journey. The first one, I use this little acronym, Access. I know Access has another S on the end. This one does too. It stands for something a little different. But we want to start with awareness. And that awareness phase is how somebody finds you. How are they discovering you and your business and the fact that it exists? C is for consideration. So now that they found you, we got to think about who we're going to work with, and we can't just spend our money immediately. We got to warm up to people, right? So that's the consideration phase. Commitment, honey, that's when we get that yes, okay? We want to make sure that we have a process for people when they're ready to say yes, because you are so dope that somebody's going to say, they're going to say yes. And once they said yes, you want to make sure that you are ready to provide a premium experience. So the E in access is that experience, okay? What is happening as they go through your program? That's our E. And then the final stage in our customer journey is sustain. Sustain means number one, how are we going to make sure that when our clients and customers leave us, they still are able to get that transformation? Not only that, how are we able to sustain that relationship with them? Because listen, it is harder to get new clients because people they trust is shot these days. So it is harder to get new clients than it is to retain the clients and customers that you already have. So how are you going to sustain that relationship with your people? All right, so those are the stages of the customer journey. And now, y'all, let's map this thing out. Let's do it. If you are ready, type a ready in the chat because we are about to get it on and popping. All right. So if you don't have the customer journey map, you're going to want to make sure that you get it, okay? Because this is a fire document, and the purpose of this document is for you to gain clarity around the steps that you want your folks to take, okay? We want them to know that we know what we're talking about, right? And by mapping out our client journey, we can pick the technology, we can pick the tools that are going to give us the most bang for our buck when it comes to our business. All right, so let's talk about it. Across the top here, you notice I have all of those steps in the client journey right there across the top. And then going down the side, these are all the different things that we want to consider when it comes to our client journey. Now, remember I told you that the word access had an extra S on the end? That is the systems and support. That systems and support actually comes right here when we start talking about the technology that we need to carry out each part of the customer journey. So let's get into it. We getting all the way in, like all the way in. So let's start with the awareness phase. And when we're talking about awareness, again, we're talking about how our people find you, how they discover that you or that your business even exists. So when it comes to the awareness phase, I don't even want to talk about actions, touch points, pain points, solutions, or technology before I think about the experience. Because when somebody comes into my atmosphere, my ecosystem, and they're ready to work with me, then I want to make sure that I have already tapped into the experience that I want them to have when they come work with me. Okay. So I want to start with this section right here. I want to start with customer experience. I want to think about my customers. I want to think about my clients. And at the awareness stage, what is it that I want them to feel? If you are not tapping into those feelings and tapping into those emotions, honey, you're missing out. You're missing out. I want you to start to think about the experience that you want your customers and your clients to have even before they have spent a dollar. So for me personally, at the awareness phase, maybe I want my customers and my clients to feel seen. So when they are interacting with me, I want them to feel like I know them and what they're going through. Okay? So now I can start to think about people are coming to me, they're being introduced to my business, they're being introduced to my brand, but what are they doing in order to be able to do that? So let's talk about actions. I want you to think about your customer and your clients. What are they doing that brings awareness of your business? What brings them awareness of your business? So, for me personally, that might be social media. So, maybe somebody was like, have you seen Carmen's YouTube videos? Honey, she be on there. She be on there. She push go. Or maybe your awareness is word of mouth. Maybe they're talking to somebody and they're like, honey, Carmen, you need to go see her. Or maybe they're talking to somebody and they're like, have you seen Melissa? Have you seen her? Have you seen her? Have you seen I don't know. Have you seen her? That's what they want to know. And so, what are those touch points? What are those touch points? So, now that they, at the awareness phase, what are the touch points? For me, again, that's my socials. So, when they see me on Instagram, when they see me on YouTube, when they see me on Facebook, I don't be on TikTok like that because I don't be on TikTok like that. Or so when they come across my Substack articles, because your girl be on Substack. So my touch points might be my socials, or they might be my clients. Again, they've had the interaction with those people. Now, let's talk about pain points. Because we've already said that we want our people to feel seen, or whatever that adjective is for you and your people, what you want them to feel, what you want them to experience. So let's talk about pain points. So at the awareness phase, when people are just discovering you, what pain might they be experiencing as a part of your awareness? Maybe they are experiencing some type of confusion. Maybe they are confused because your content is all over the place. Maybe they are confused because you haven't been talking directly to them. What are their pain points? And so once you've decided what that pain point is, then you can go back and say, all right, now here is the solution. So if my people are confused, if they are confused, then maybe what I want to do is to clear up my messaging. And finally, if I want my people to be seen, if I want to clear up my messaging and I want to make sure that people become more aware of who I am and what my business has to offer, then what technology or what tools do I need that are going to support that? So there's Metricool for content planning. There is I also use Planoly for content planning or content scheduling. Maybe we're talking about Canva because I got to create the carousel or I got to create the post to put in so that people can become more aware of me. Um, for YouTube, I use Ecamm. So maybe Ecamm is the technology or the resource that I need so that people can become more aware of what it is that I have to offer. Now let's move on. We're gonna change the color because who doesn't like a bunch of colors? Let's go with green because why not? So let's talk about the consideration phase. So now that people have become aware of who you are and what you are talking about, they're not going to just push the go button right away. They're going to spend some time really looking at you, checking you out, seeing what you're talking about. That's why it's important for you to, and me too, because look, I'm going to call myself out just as much as I'm going to call anybody else out. That's why it is important to stay consistent and to keep going. Even when you don't see all the clients coming in, you don't see all the money coming in, just stay consistent because somebody, I don't know who they are, but somebody is watching you and waiting for you to show up and be the painkiller that they need. So, as they are watching you and they are in that consideration phase, they're thinking about saying yes, but they don't really know yet. They're like, maybe. What are their actions? What are their actions? Before we even talk about actions, though, let's talk about um, how they're feeling. How are they feeling? I'm going to say they're probably curious. Cause they're like, I don't know. Can Carmen help me? Can she not help me? Do she know what she talking about for real? I mean, these are all things that you want to think about when it comes to the customer experience. Now, what are her actions? What your client or customer, what are their actions? Let's see. If we are at the consideration phase, maybe they are stalking your socials. Or they're talking to the person who recommended you. Our touch points, again, are those socials. But at this point, well, we got another little trick up our sleeve because at this point, if they're really considering us, then they have decided to exchange their time, their email address. So now we have email marketing as a consideration factor. So they thinking about it. They're like, I don't know if, but we gonna figure it out. And if Carmen emails me enough times, then I'll have the answer. What are their pain points? At this point, I think they're still confused because they're like, okay, I see she is, I see she's on to something, but Is she the right person for me? Can she really help me? It ain't about you, it's about them. Can they want to know if you can solve their problem at this point. So what are the solution to the confusion? I want to say it's a low entry. It's a low. That's your tier 0. It's a low entry point would be the solution, so that you can um go ahead and give them some value before they even get on a call with you or before they even say yes. This could also be a lead magnet, a high quality lead magnet where they are like, okay, lead magnet, this is really helpful. So, because this is really helpful, she might be the person for me. So, what technology do we need? Of course, you're going to need your email marketing platform. So, that's Kit. Personally, right now, I'm using Flowdesk. If you have a CRM, like Go High Level, that could be it. You could also use Entreport, MailChimp. There are so many email marketing platforms out there, and most of them do all the same things. I use Flowdesk because of the experience that I want my customers and clients to have. And Flowdesk over delivers on that experience. And so that is why I personally use it. So now let's talk about commitment. So they become aware of us, they're watching us, they're like stalking us, they're like, oh no. And now we're getting into the commitment phase where they're ready to say yes. So, what does that look like? First, as far as their feelings, because again, we don't want to not think about how we want our people to feel. I want my people to feel confident. If you're going to say yes to me, I want that to be a resounding yes, not a yeah, not a sure. I want it to be a yes. Yes. What are our touch points? I'm sorry, let's go up to our customer actions. So at this point, our people are checking out. They are at the checkout page. They are ready to rock and roll. They are putting in their card number, okay? They are filling out the onboarding forms. They are ready to rock and roll. So, what are our touch points? If you have a CRM, that's where that would go. If you're not sure what a CRM is, it stands for Client Relationship Management. So, that CRM could be a touch point for them, as well as a checkout page is a touch point, or it could be a virtual meeting. What are our pain points at this point? Woo, they're feeling a little tension, especially because they're about to let go of some of them coins. So they're feeling a little bit of tension. But other pain points might be that they don't understand the process. Maybe the workflow is not clear. So clarity is definitely a pain point at this part of the journey. So, what are our solutions? Number one, we want to map out and we want to walk through our journey as if we are our people. And then we want to make sure that every part of our offer lets go, like releases some of that tension for them. We need this to be an easy yes, not a I gotta call Bay and ask him first 47 times before I say yes. This we want it to be a yes. And that also is going to be making sure that we are speaking to their pain points. We want to offer them painkiller language and not vitamin language. I'm gonna put painkiller because we're gonna kill the pain and the and we're going to let it go. And then also, I'm going to put clarity because again, we want them to have some level of clarity. Now, what systems of support do we need to make all of those things happen? Well, depends on what you have going on. I personally love Thrivecart. Depending on the offer, I also use Dubsado for my higher tier offers. For those lower level, those lower commitments, I use Thrivecart and I use Dubsado for the higher level commitments. There's also Go High Level. There is Entreport. There is, you could just do a Stripe page. You could do a checkout page and Kit. There's Kajabi if you have it. So many different resources to make that yes easy, because that's what it's about, an easy yes. Whew, have gone through 3/5 of the categories. So let's get into experience. So now that we have talked about, oops, sorry, I'm pushing buttons. We've gotten our people, they've become aware of us, and now they're like, they stalked us for a little bit, and now they're like, yes, 10 out of 10, yes. So now let's talk about the experience that we want to provide. So I feel like this is where we can give them the creme de la creme. The the I don't know any other words to use right now, but this is where we want that to make a premium top tier experience for our folks. So, how do we want them to feel? I think we should always start with our feelings. So, how do we want them to feel throughout the experience? I'm going to say we want them to feel transformed, because that's what it's all about, is helping our people, your clients, your customers, to get some type of transformation. So we want them to feel transformed. And you know what we did not do? We did not change the color. That will never do. We want them to feel transformed. So, what are their actions at the experience level? So, they are going through the modules, they are doing the work. I'm gonna write this right, doing the work. So, at the experience level, they are doing the work. They are getting the transformation that they paid for. They are walking through your framework. So, what are our touch points? This could be a Zoom meeting. Maybe if you have a self-paced course, that is the touch point. Maybe you have a membership community in Mighty Networks or school, whichever you decide to go with. Those are your touch points. Also, you're communicating constantly with them, so maybe you're doing that through email. Now, what are their pain points at this level? It might be the time commitment, it might be their mindset, and they're feeling a little uncomfortable with all of the things that are coming up for them during the process. So, what are solutions then? Our solutions are going to be baked right into our programs already. So, what are those solutions? Let's see. Well, if time is a pain point, so maybe we help them with time management by dripping out our course, or maybe we, instead of giving them a call every week, we only have a call every other week. Um, when it comes to mindset, maybe we're starting our program talking about mindset instead of waiting until later in the experience. And then what tech is needed? It all depends on what your fancy is. Again, if you have a membership community, school is a great option. Mighty Networks is also a great option. You have Kajabi. If you're hosting video conferences, there's Zoom, there's Google Meet, so many different tech platforms. You have your Calendly for scheduling and your CRMs. I'm gonna just if you have a CRM like Dubsado, that's another excellent choice to provide a premium experience. And the last part of our customer journey is to sustain. So they've found us, they have stalked us, they've said yes, they're doing the work. We are providing not just not just water, but we giving them a little bit of champagne, even though water does sustain us. Um, but we've given them that experience, and so sustain. We want to talk about two different things. Number one, how are we going to make sure that once they leave our program, they continue with that same transformation that they got while they were with us? And then number two, how can we retain that relationship? So sustain the relationship that we have with them. So that could be number one. How do we want them to feel? Uh, let's see. Let me think if I can think of a word. How do we want them to feel when it comes? Whoops! It zoomed in on me. We want them to feel. Let's pick a new color. Maybe we'll continue with the idea of them feeling transformed at the sustained stage. Our touch points then are going to let's come up with our customer actions. They are constantly doing the work, but they're able to do it independently. And then this is where we can offer a upsell, so we're sending them to the next level, or at least offering the next level. And if it's not the next level, maybe it's a continuity offer. So like let's say you just had, or somebody just went through a 12-week course or cohort. The next step then would be bringing them into maybe a membership model so that they can continue the work with you and continue to have that transformation. Or maybe you're upselling them from a cohort into a one-on-one coaching role. What are the touch points here? Again, that's email, because we're going to make sure that we are communicating with our folks. And that is also, if you have a CRM, you're communicating with them via your CRM. Maybe they're filling out a weekly form. Maybe they are filling out a offboarding something or another, or onboarding something or another. All that can be done inside of a CRM. And there's also some conversations happening here. So maybe you're having meetings with them, continuity meetings with them. And then our pain points here, at the sustain level is that maybe they didn't do the work like they should have. They didn't complete the program like they should have. You gave them everything, but life started lifing, and that's real. And so, what are our solutions there? Again, we can bake that into the program. Maybe we give them an extra week. Oh, y'all, it's my bedtime. my It's my bedtime. So maybe we give them an extra week, or maybe we have a conversation with them just to see where things went awry and how we could support them further. And then what is the technology needed again? That's your Zoom, that's your CRM, that's all the things that we have used thus far. So we don't really need to bring in anything new here unless we're moving them to a higher tiered offer. Whew, that was a lot. But the great thing about doing this work is that now we have some real clarity on the way that our people are moving through our programs and the interactions that they have with us, so that when it comes to systems and supports, we can choose the systems and support that are going to give us and give our clients the most bang for their buck. It also makes it so that we're not spending $5,000 on all these tools, because we've taken them through all of these different steps so they're ready, okay, to again move through the steps. There's clarity for us, there's clarity for our clients, and that is the real win here. It's when they get the clarity that they need because we've taken the time to get the clarity that we need. So again, make sure that if you have not already grabbed the customer journey checklist, that map that we just filled out together is inside of that document, and it is ready and waiting for you to go ahead and map out your customer journey so you are ready, so that you can provide your people with the systems and the support, and so that you can choose the systems and support that are going to give your clients and your customers the most top tier of experiences. Um, oh, it zoomed in. That was not supposed to happen. All right, y'all. That is it for this evening. I'm going to drop that link into the description box once this video has ended, so you can go back and grab it. Again, watch this video with that document so that you can fill it out right along with me, and so that we can talk. So it's kind of like we're doing it together, like, togetherness. All right, so tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, we'll be back live again. Make sure you put it on your calendar and join me again. This was fun. And I'll see you tomorrow.